Hi everyone. I'm sitting here crocheting. I'm making I'll show you. It's so messy. It's a disaster. It's my first big project. But it's gonna be like a turtleneck thing. Then it's gonna have a hood on it. So it's gonna be super cozy thing for these winters in Northern California. And I'm so excited. I'm so proud of myself. Although for those of you who might see this that actually crochet, it's okay if you laugh. Like, I'm totally laughing at it. It's so wonky that like my edges, they're so all like scalloped, not because they're supposed to be, but because of my counts are off. But I don't know. I really like crocheting. It's been really good for me. But again, very, very beginner. But why I love it so much is that it has been given me the opportunity just to be quiet since I've gotten back here in Northern California. So I wanted to come in and do this Peace Talks today because I'm sitting here crocheting and my mind is processing. My mind is going through a download of some sort, and I thought maybe I would share it. And I'm in my if you're coming into Peace Talks fresh off, I don't know, 3 weeks back, 3 weeks I think it has been from our 2 year little stint over, not all of it in Europe, but I went on that spiritual journey is what I'm calling it, a pilgrimage of sorts. But I wanted to come in here because I'm sitting here thinking, I was watching a show and they said, she's like, I'm really strong, but I'm struggling. And I like immediately, like, it wasn't even a half a second after that line was given, my eyes watered and I just broke out in tears because for those of you who've been along on this journey through daily tune-ins and through Peace Talks, I've been trying to get back to the States for a few months now and was having a lot of struggles, and there was an energy that wasn't ready to let me go. And what I do know about that is when we up level, when we go from one frequency to another, there's some chaos in between that kind of holds the energies together. But to get through that, to break through that, always feels, like when you make a change, it's always like the last things that go wrong, or the hurdles that you face, the challenges that come up unexpectedly. Like, that was very prevalent, and I understood what was happening for 3 months. That, like that shaking to ascend into another experience is what is the backbreaking work. And it took, I was holding my shit together for 3 months just trying to get back, and then we finally got back, and this is the place that when Bud and I decided to it's time to put down roots, where those roots going to be. We thought we were going to be in Europe somewhere. We thought that's where the roots were going to be sown, because life took a little bit of a twist and a turn and an uphill and a downhill, and life humbled us quite a bit. And finally saying, where are we going to put down roots? Instead of getting the answer right away, life took us on a journey to shake loose everything that was not to be part of our life and roots, our new life, our rooted life. And it was a humbling experience this last 2 years, and that's why I call it a spiritual pilgrimage, because we had to look at all facets of ourselves. And at the end of the day, when it came down to choosing, we chose this place that we call it Pappy Farms. It's my mom and stepdad's property, hopefully one day a farm that's been in our family for, not new, but here's why I love it so much. I've had, lots of stuff, lots of density in my life that I've worked through. Everybody has, right? We all have. And after working through the densities and learning the lessons from them, and at the end of the day, when I look at the history of my family, I didn't come from a super rich, I don't mean like financially, but like a rich family experience. I came from a very dysfunctional one side was dysfunctional, really dysfunctional. And quite frankly, emotionally abusive, in how, and what I mean by that is guilt and judgment that my family, poked at each other over the years, day in and day out, that comes out on the other end of not the healthiest of families. So when I look at places that I feel most happy, it's this place, because my mom and stepdad bought it 10 plus years ago. And when we first stepped foot, not when they first brought me here, there was nothing on this property but just not even a driveway. Like, we drove up through the easement and came down here, and this whole field, this where I'm sitting right now, is where we stood. And it was just field and hillsides and mountains. And I felt a feeling on that day like I had never felt for land before. And for the next 10 years, I've come here. This has been where I'm going home to visit family. I'm coming to Pappy Farms. And when my mom and stepdad started to build the house 8 years ago, they bought this RV to live in while they built the house. And the plan was live in it for a year or two. And eight years later, they are now in the house, and they have this RV. But this land, I've watched it be transformed by my mom and stepdad. I've watched it be terraced out. I've watched it be dug up. And I've watched I've participated in pine trees being planted here, and I have seen the tears, and I have been part of the tears. And this land has been here for me, because in those 10 years I was unhappily married to my first time around. And this was where I came to escape, to come to heal, to feel healthy, to feel this is where I came to recalibrate, to get grounded, to then go back and face my life again, face the next phase. And this became and now when I look back on it, this became my sanctuary. Pappy Farms became my sanctuary, and this camper has had me and the boys and my mom and stepdad all in it. We have been like stuck in here like sardines, and we put couches out and watched movies in this camper, and we've laughed, we've cried, we've fought, we've adventured in this camper, in this RV. So this, like, the fact that Bud and I are staying in it now, it's like the next evolution of Pappy Farms. It feels like I came home, and I'm in this RV. But as I sit here, though, again, I know how strong I am. I've been through a lot of shit, and I love who I've become because of it. And I have seen, and I've grown, and I've experienced, and I like who I am, and I know that I have so much to offer this world, and I have so much to offer people, because I can now see how much I gave to myself and who I've become. Like, I have a lot to offer myself by giving of my time and energy, and yet I have no idea where I fit. I have no idea. I'm struggling coming back here and thinking now, okay, how do I create a life? Because when I go out in the world, or I think of, I don't know, like getting a normal job or whatever, I see too much about this world. I've seen too much about this world. I can't operate. I can't fit in a world that trades, trades time being miserable for, for a paycheck. Like, I can't do that. I want my time to be spent giving in a way that fulfills me and also fulfills a role of some sort. And I have loved so much the work that I've done over the last 10 years. I want to write. There's there's so much of that I want to continue, and at the same time there is it's time for Bud and I to literally build our storehouse, to build our home, our storehouse. And this storehouse means a lot more than just a storehouse. It is the place that sustains you. That this is the storehouse of our souls, the storehouse of our minds, the storehouse of our family, and it is a physical storehouse structure as well. So there's a lot of intention that we want to put into this life now that we are rooting. We're choosing to root here on, on this land, and yet I want to do it right this time. I want to do it according to my soul. And I can't, I still don't see yet how that comes together without participating in the world that I don't want to participate in. And I don't know how to blend, is there a way to blend it? I don't know. So I'm really struggling. I'm struggling with who to be and how to be that. It's not really who to be. I know exactly who I want to be. I just don't know how to be that in a world that when I go out, people are not ready for what I have to say in most cases. And it feels very lonely. But I'm kind of over that. Like, it doesn't really feel lonely. It just feels more confusing because I'm excited to build a life here. I'm excited to build a home. I'm excited to have that home be a complete 100% reflection of me. Like no more vanilla cookie cutter homes. Like all of that crap was never for me, but I did the most that I could to make them creative and homey and cozy. But this time around, I want it to be a complete and utter reflection of the colorful nature of who Bud and I are. And that home, our home, is going to be a reflection of that. And it's going to be it's going to be an inviting place for people to come. And when they come and they sit in my living room, they are going to feel the healing, because it will be the place to come and just feel peace. And no part of that will go without intention. And I'm ready to get started on the storehouse, and yet nothing really makes sense as to how that's going to work. So I'm strong. You're strong. I'm struggling. You may not be, but if you are, we can be strong, and we can also be struggling a little bit. But I think this world, the one side of the world has painted struggling as this taboo thing. Like, oh, I feel sorry for her, she's struggling. When I have to struggle because I'm wanting to build a dream and build a life because I've chosen it, that's not a struggle. That's nothing to feel sorry for. But the way in which they're both handled, whether you're struggling because shit's bad, or you're struggling because shit's good and you want to jump in the good, both sides process the same way. You go quiet. You go inside. You sit with it. You wait for the nudge. You wait for the idea. Yes, we all want the idea. We want the thing to come a lot faster than it typically does. Like, how long does this take? In my mind, what I get caught up, what I'm struggling with is I don't want to wait years for this. Right? Chances are I'm going to wait years for it. So what I'm, struggling with or working through is the ability to be with what is, once again, in a completely different place than I've been before, because my whole life I'd say I've always been struggling with what is, I've always been working through what is. Here I am again. This is just the next layer of being good with where we are when we're in it, being good with what is, and trusting that in divine timing, all will come through. And that is what I'm so grounded by. I'm literally grounded on this land by the vision that it has shown me for our little corner. It's really beautiful. And I want to give that gift of beauty, I guess, back to this land and back to, back to me, back to my husband, back to my boys. But I can only do that as fast as Gus is willing to work through me. So that's where we are. It's a bit chaotic. It feels a little bit chaotic. The energies are definitely chaotic. We've got them coming through from all different energies, from the galactic side, from the solar side. We're also in, the photon belt. So those energies are completely different. So there's all this fluttering of energy all around. And many of us can feel it mentally and emotionally. Our bodies, I know a lot of people have weird body things going on, physical, aches, pains. I have had this like weird cold that's just hanging on. It's not like bad, but it's not, I can feel it. Come this time, 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, I can feel it starting to lag me a little bit. So that's been weird for me. I know Bud, his gut and his joints have been like real weird for the last couple of days. So that tells me this chaotic energy that I am processing mostly emotionally. A lot of people are also processing physically. They tend to be more, physically aware. I'm more emotionally aware. So I'm like seeing chaos. I'm feeling the chaos. I'm feeling the challenge. So the struggle is real. It is happening, whether it's happening more emotionally, mentally, or physically for you. There is some chaos. So we're just riding this wave of chaos, because all of a sudden one thing will shift it that takes us into a higher expression of it for us to process then and to get really good with what is, so that we can move to the next level, so to speak. So it's just a weird time right now. So if you're feeling weird, you're feeling a little chaotic, you're feeling like you're struggling a little bit, but you're strong, you haven't lost your strength. I'm telling myself this. You haven't lost your strength. You've just been asked to just chill for a second. So let's just chill and allow these challenges to just filter through, so that once they are filtered through, we can walk into them and we'll see with completely different eyes. That's what we're being called to do. So thanks for coming into it's not mine, but into my little space right now. And this is being borrowed and nicely gifted by my mom and stepdad for us to take over the reins of living in the RV while our dream gets built out. So I want to say hopefully it won't be 8 years, but in 8 years, if I'm in here, that's how long my mom lasted. I'll be surprised if I last that long, because getting a shower and knocking your elbows, there's definitely a learning curve living in an RV, and like nobody can get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night without the whole thing shaking. So that's usually me too. So I try to tiptoe. No matter how much you tiptoe in this thing, it still shakes and it shudders. And sometimes if I don't know someone's moving, if one of the dogs is like scratching out here and it's shaking the whole thing, I'm like, oh, there's an earthquake. There's an earthquake. And then I realize it's just the RV. So there's definitely a learning curve with living in an RV. But it's another adventure. It's another thing I can say I did. I lived in an RV. I lived in, looking at Greek islands. I lived in Ukraine. There's a lot of things that I can say that I'm pretty excited about. And at the same time, all of them, I'm not in each of those simply because they weren't for me. So RV living, I don't know, might not be fully for me. And I've had this dream for thousands of years. Anyone who knows me for any amount of time will tell you she's always wanted to live in an RV. And now I'm like, not so sure, but I'm doing it. I'm finally checking something else off my dream list that might fall off the dream list. But now's the time for us to be adding, and I'm just adding on. My only one and only dream at this point is to invite beautiful people, beautiful souls to my physical storehouse and take you on a tour of this home, which is small, but by the end of it, you go from one end to the other, you've had an experience. My home will be an experience. It'll be a storehouse experience. So I look forward to graduating out of the RV and into the storehouse so I can put out on a Peace Talks an invitation for people to join me. That is my dream. Thanks for holding that in your heart for me. And I would love to hear your dreams. So what are y'all working on? What's challenging you the most to get to? Because me getting to this rooted house is sending some challenges. But we're strong. We are strong. And it's okay to struggle. I'm struggling with you. But I got a smile on my face. Got my crochet. I'm doing it all in a healthy manner. I'm feeling it. I'm crying it out. Crocheting some stuff. Sharing with you all so you know you're not alone. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna create a better world simply by creating our own. So much love to y'all. Mwah. Have a good one. Bye. Yes, I just did that. Bye.